Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Last Stand Gamers, and welcome. So it's Thursday, and that can only mean one real thing, that we have a patch. And you're probably wondering how I'm doing all these interesting animations. Well, that is part of the patch, and let's have a look at that first. So if I bring up my toolbar, you can see that we've got 4 animations that have been added to the game. We have the simple wave, we have the sort of interesting chair, we have the oh no, I've broken it, and we have number 4, the thumbs up, the universal symbol of a good job. You can also combine these to get some quite interesting sort of combinations of different sort of things, if you wish anyway. But there's quite a lot of silly things you can do with these. You can start messing around, you can do some spanking, you can do some general waving, some rock and roll fist. But yeah, it's pretty good. I can't wait to see people using these in all sorts of manners in a multiplayer environment. Anyway, let's get on to some of the new blocks. So let's switch back into my character. Now, first off, we have the standalone control panel. So this is it. This is the block itself, and if I bring up G, I can actually see what it looks like to be placed. And we do a little bit of scrolling down, and there it is, the standalone control panel. So basically we can place this on the side of an object, just like a light switch. It can be rotated, and it takes up just about the same space as a light switch. So you can see there, we've got a light switch there, that's probably just about the same space. And it's not T accessible, so it can't be programmed like I thought it would originally be able to. I was hoping that you could program your presets into there, press T, and it would activate whatever you want, but you can access like usual. So that means you can have great access to things wherever you want, especially when it comes to things like doors like this that we'll get onto later. Now, something I was quite surprised about was the introduction of a number of different sorts of platform block. So these were usually just standard sort of guardrails. This was the one that was available to us, but you had some really bad problems with it when it came to doing certain areas, and it mean you'd have to have missing areas where there was no actual handrail. But they've added a corner piece, and they've also added a double-sided piece, so we can pretty much do anything. We've also got a flat piece here, and it's allowed me to build this sort of vehicle mechanical sort of rack, so I can have a look at my droids that are up here, and I can assess them. And I've got a guardrail all the way around, so I'm not very likely to actually fall off. Very nice indeed. So you may have noticed outside that we've got these small sort of droids circling, and you're probably wondering how exactly they're working because they seem to be on some sort of orbit. Well, if we go down to the door below and we get ourselves outside, we can actually show you how these work. Now, these work mainly due to 2 overriding settings. Now, you can override the thrusters already, but now you can actually override the gyroscope. So let's actually have a look inside. So we have the gyroscope here, and you've noticed that these settings have been added. By ticking this override control setting, we can now adjust the yaw, pitch, and roll manually. Also, this will stop the gyroscope from automatically correcting its flight path or its actual spin and curve as it gets hit or moves. So you can see that these are orbiting a very small orbit, but they're doing this by the thrusters being activated ever so slightly, as well as the gyroscope being locked to one axis. So it's just turning extremely freely. Now, these small ones don't have too much purpose. They're more for scary factor, but they can also be used with the antenna to relay messages between 2 different areas. But these large ones I've got in here that are currently under maintenance are more for the large sort of ship or even thingy defense. You could deploy one of these around your ships as it's parked, or you could even deploy it around a station, and you could use that very powerful sort of turret to defend it from attack, as well as them actually orbiting and making sure no one's trying to sneak up from a different angle. Very nice sort of idea. Anyway, let's get on to the mods. So as you can tell, we're back on the main menu for this part, and that's because we're going to be showing you how to hook up your mods. Now, first of all, you visited the Steam Workshop and you subscribed to the mod that you've wanted. Now, there's 2 ways of doing it. First of all, to add it to an existing world, you can simply go to Edit Settings and Mods. And now this is how it works. First of all, it's going to be loading the mod files in. And there's 2 things we want to take into consideration here. So this folder means that it's going to be on your hard drive, and this means it's on the Steam Workshop. So if you're playing with friends and you set up a little bit of a server, things that are on your hard drive are not going to be able to be used by your friends, and it might cause a crash. Now, if you all want to play together, if the item's on the Steam Workshop and your friend doesn't have it, it will download it, and then it'll allow them to play with you and use that mod as well. So it's to simply add a mod to your world, So for instance, we've got an armor thruster, and we've got the amazing like sort of plant habitat thing called the hydroponic, or whatever it's called, and we can move that across by simply either double clicking, or in this case we can add the little arrow, and we can delete it just by doing the same, by double clicking and taking it out of the world like so. Really interesting, really easy, and you can get as many mods as you want. There's also been a whole library of different sorts of mods and other features that have been added, like suit customization. You might have been wondering how we've been doing our suits. Well, Sage's very beautiful sort of custom creations were pretty hard, and you had to know where to look for these folders to actually get them uploaded before, but this has made it a lot easier. So if you're going to start a new world, it's just the same. You go to your custom world setting, you go to your mods, and once again you can add it through there. Now it's really simple and it doesn't require too much explaining. If you've got a dedicated server, of course you're going to have to actually add them mods onto it through the dedicated server options, and I'm not going to explain that because it gets a little bit more complicated. But if you want to play with some mods with your friends, it's as simple as dragging and dropping and making sure they're from the Steam files. Now if you're thinking of taking Space Engineers maybe to the next level and developing some of your own mods, this is going to come very much in handy. So if we access F11, you can actually see we've got a number of simple settings: enable debug draw, enable dummies, mount points. You can even see the physics primitives. Absolutely beautiful. We can also reload the textures, open in a new window, copy log to clipboard, and with all this we can actually assess and build our own modifications and see if they actually work. And any mods or any information that causes the game to crash will actually be outputted into your log file that can easily be found within your directory. But thank you guys for watching. It's been a little bit of a focused on the modding side of Space Engineers today, but I just love to see that they're really focusing on further developing the community in Space Engineers. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.